Next on Tigers Baseball, a character-building comeback. We'll hear from Sparky, George, and Al. The Roundtable makes some predictions, and it's the first game from the new Comiskey Park. You are looking live at the new Comiskey Park, where today the White Sox host the Tigers in the first game ever played at the new stadium. Built at a cost of $135 million, the White Sox are ushering in a new era with the new Comiskey Park. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Bernie Smilovitz, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. The White Sox play their home opener this afternoon against the Detroit Tigers. Vice President Dan Quayle will be there. Because the new Comiskey Park was still being finished, the Sox started the season with 7 games on the road. They won their first 6 before yesterday's 10-1 loss to the Yankees. Meanwhile, the Tigers begin a long road trip today, and they should be flying after their dramatic comeback yesterday against the Toronto Blue Jays, whom they beat 5-4 in 10 innings. We've got highlights. We'll start with the defensive play of the game. Tigers second, Andy Allenson with the bunt, but Denny Boucher with the dive makes the grab. Nice play. Toronto third, 2 men on. Joe Carter steps up. He singles here off of Steve Searcy. That'll score Mookie Wilson, and the Jays led it 3-1 over the Tigers. They built that lead to 4-1 in front of Queen Elizabeth and her mother, who made a stop in Detroit yesterday.
Well, this is very colorful.
Tigers ninth, 2 on, 2 out. Lou Whitaker pinch hitting. Boom! It's gone. A 3-run home run to the upper deck and right. John Shelby and Mickey Tettleton score, and the game was tied at 4-4. Then in the 10th, Milt Kyler pinch running. He's on third. Dwayne Ward pitching. Pat Borders with the pass ball. That allows Kyler to score, and the Tigers beat the Jays 5-4 in 10 innings. Good ball game. Tigers sent Frank Tanana to the mound today against Jack McDowell. Tanana is 0-1 on the year. McDowell is 2-0. Standing by live at the new Comiskey Park is a guy who might have helped open the old Comiskey Park. Just kidding. Sparky Anderson is there. What do you think of the new place?
It is unbelievable, Bernie. I'll be very truthful. It reminds me of Dodger Stadium when you're standing in center field and look at the stadium. It is done perfect. It is a baseball field. The people who did it should have all the credit in the world. It's a marvelous stadium. The facilities are unbelievable. I wish we could take this right to Detroit and just a package and put it right now.
Well, that's not hard. Just come up with $135 million. You can have one just like it.
Well, I'll tell you, though, if everybody in Detroit could see this stadium, I'll guarantee you they would want this stadium. It is an unbelievable job.
Spark, you know, Bill Veeck had such an influence on the game of baseball, and from what I understand, in the new stadium, they've brought over the old exploding scoreboard. That was a nice touch. Very nice, and it looks beautiful here in center field, and all their signs that they have up and right, all the way around to left, are beautiful. It is. Everything about this thing is right. They did a tremendous job. Is there anything you will miss about the old Comiskey Park? Nothing, not a thing. I'm terrible, but I don't miss old things. I've always said that Napoleon was great history and Cleopatra was great history, but I don't want too much history. Leave it as history. All right, let's talk about yesterday's game. I contend that there are moments during a season that build the character of a baseball team, and I think yesterday was one of those moments. I think so, but I agree with you that I think you have about 3 or 4 during the course of the year that if you're going to play well, those things have to happen. Yesterday was certainly one of those things that if we're going to be any good at all, this should help us very much. Tell everyone what you told Tony Phillips yesterday in the bottom of the 9th with 2 on, 2 outs, and you had Lou Whitaker pinch hitting for him. Well, first I had told Lou when the inning started, I said, you will not hit unless we get 2 men on, then you're going to hit. And then I told Tony when it came, I said, little gnats don't hit here. I said, big men hit here. He understood. He understands. Tony is a type of player that one thing he wants to do is win. That's what he wants to do first. Naturally, he'd like to hit, but the main thing he wants to do is us win. Have you been in situations before where you try to do the same thing and a player would go pout and wouldn't really understand what you were trying to do? Oh, absolutely. Over the years, I've had a lot of pouting times. I think it's good for him sometimes. Get in the corner and cry, and it does him good. Get all the tears out. All right. Spark, good seeing you. Enjoy your stay at Comiskey Park. Thank you, Bernie. All right. Sparky Anderson. Stay right there. George and Al are next as we continue here on Tigers Baseball.
Down each line, it is a symmetrical park. To the power alleys, 375 and 400 feet to dead straightaway center field. The architects, Helmuth, Obata, and Kassabaum. We may be speaking with one of those gentlemen before the afternoon is over with. It took less than 2 years to put this structure together, and that may be one of the most amazing facts of the whole ballpark. Only 2 years, well, actually not even 2, about 23 months to get this thing all put together and ready to go. And you see the cost there, $134.9 million, and apparently from all we've seen so far.
First for the visiting American League Detroit Tigers. Manager of the Tigers, number 11, Sparky Anderson. And now the lineup for the Tigers. Leading off, the designated hitter, number 4, Tony Phillips. Batting second, the shortstop, number 3, Alan Trammell. Batting third, the second baseman, number 1, Lou Whitaker. Batting fourth, the first baseman, number 45, Cecil Fielder. Batting fifth, the left fielder, number 29, Pete Incaviglia. Batting sixth, the catcher, number 20, Mickey Tettleton. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 44, Rob Deere. Batting eighth, the center fielder, number 25, John Shelby. Batting ninth, the third baseman, number 24, Travis Fryman. And warming up in the bullpen for the Tigers, the starting pitcher, number 26, Frank Tanana. And now the rest of the Detroit Tigers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your 1991 Chicago White Sox. First, welcome the head trainer of the Sox, Herm Schneider. Assistant trainer, Mark Anderson. Strength and conditioning coach, Steve Odgers. Home clubhouse manager, Willie Thompson. Visiting clubhouse manager, Joe McNamara. Assistant visiting clubhouse manager, Gabe Morrell. And umpires clubhouse manager, Vince Fresso. Now meet the manager and coaches for the White Sox. First, the manager, number 10, Jeff Torborg. Third base coach, number 18, Terry Bevington. First base coach, number 36, Barry Foote. Pitching coordinator, number 46, Sammy Ellis. Hitting coordinator, number 6, Walt Riniak. Bullpen coach, number 17, Dave LaRoche. Bench coach, number 15, Joe Nosek. And bullpen catcher, John Stevenson. And now the starting lineup for the White Sox. Leading off, the designated hitter, number 30, Tim Raines. Batting second, the center fielder, number 1, Lance Johnson. Batting third, the third baseman, number 23, Robin Ventura. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 35, Frank Thomas. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 72, Carlton Fisk. Batting sixth, the right fielder, number 25, Sammy Sosa. Batting seventh, the left fielder, number 28, Corey Snyder. Batting eighth, the shortstop, number 13, Ozzie Guillen. Batting ninth, the second baseman, number 7, Scott Fletcher. And warming up in the White Sox bullpen, today's starter, number 29, Jack McDowell.
Those are the starting lineups for this afternoon's game from brand new Comiskey Park, and we'll return.
That's right. Welcome back, time for the round table. I think you guys really are three of my favorites to have on here. First, former Tiger catcher Jim Price, and the man who has invented the Tiger fantasy camp, the Pistons fantasy camp, and is living in a fantasy world.
A lot more coming up. I want to join you.
From WJR Radio, Frank Beckman is here. Frank, always good to see you.
Nice to be included in this company.
And former Tiger pitcher Dave Rosen.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure.
Seeing you guys.
I brought
again.
peanuts for you guys. Frank brought them in, so.
You know what? Doc Finkel had a big argument with him the other night.
Explain who Doc Finkel is.
Doc Finkel works for the Tigers. I don't know what his position is.
Radio and television, doesn't he? So.
Director of radio and television.
Right.
He sells ads.
Guru.
Yeah. Oh, Guru is right. He's been there, you know, longer than the stadium.
Years, right.
But at any rate,
I'd be glad to hear that too. I'm sure.
I've had this running feud with Bo, telling him, look, you never have, pardon me, unsalted peanuts in the park. Doc said, yes, we do, and he sent me some, just to prove it. So.
And it fits right on this nice, clean table, too. I want you to know that. What happened to the budget this year?
Frank, you're not supposed to eat the
What happened to it last year? This year. Anyway, let's talk about the new stadium for Detroit. It appears to be a done deal, I would guess, at this point, that there's going to be a new stadium. There'll be no refurbishing of the old stadium, from everything I've heard from Bo and everyone inside and everybody else. You like that idea?
Well, I'll tell you what. I played in Tiger Stadium for about 8 years, 9 years. And it's nice. It's a monument. It's antique. But, you know, there's nothing like a brand new stadium. Seats, you got all the new boxes. You got restaurants. You got AC. You got TVs everywhere. It's just real nice and it's clean.
But where's it going to be?
Well, we were talking about earlier, a lot of people talk, you know, we'd like to see it stay right where it is, but also people are talking about Dearborn area, Allen Park. But I like what Rosie said. I think in baseball and sports nowadays, and the Pistons are a great example of this, you have to market. And you have to market not just the game itself. That's what's changed about baseball. It's no longer just the only game in town. You really have to mark everything else that goes with it.
You know, you look at this new Comiskey Park, and we've only seen short pictures of it, but all these private boxes, and then you hear the stories of all the services they've got for the fans.
But that's where the revenue comes.
Exactly.
Right?
They've got a kids' restaurant there. Can you imagine where the kids can get peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, things like that?
I mean, right in.
Great idea. That's where I want to go. I got the hot dogs. I want the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Well, it's a great idea. You need this kind of stuff nowadays. You've got to draw people who are not necessarily your dyed-in-the-wool baseball fans to your games.
Right. The entertainment dollar is stretched that far.
You betcha.
You know, a couple months ago, the suburbs appeared to be the hot spot for this new stadium. But from a lot of things I've heard, things are sort of shifting back to the city. Now, let me ask this. Does anyone think the city has made a heck of an offer that the Tigers couldn't refuse?
I think that had to happen personally, Bernie. I don't know how Dave and Jim feel about it, but I think the city had to make that kind of an offer to the Tigers. If they are indeed going to stay here, I think they had to guarantee them a certain amount of parking space around the stadium. I think if they've got a location in mind, and there's talk about more riverfront developments now, I think it almost has to be tied in with something like that, to be in an area, not a residential area, but rather an area where there there are some other amenities around, where there are some other draws. And if it does wind up next to a new project on the riverfront somewhere, I think it could signal a real rebirth for the downtown area. It could be a great impact on the city.
Don't you think the stadium is the signal?
That is the signal.
That is you get the stadium, then you can regenerate.
Keep everybody down here, you know, everybody, because if the stadium leaves downtown, a lot of little shops I used to visit after games are going to go down too.
You know, you realize we're the only major city with 4 sports franchises that play in 4 different arenas. That's unbelievable when you think about it, especially the size of our area compared to some of the other cities that we go up against. But I agree with Frank. I think Detroit had to make a big offer. Dearborn is always out there. You always hear that. But I think the city of Detroit had to do something, no doubt about it.
Let's talk a little baseball. Tigers have kind of been the opposite of what everyone thought they were going to be. I mean, they've had pretty decent pitching and lousy hitting thus far in the season. But everyone thought it'd be exactly the opposite coming out of spring. Sparky says it's the weather. Anybody buy it?
I think that's part of it, but pitching is always ahead of hitting. Pitching, spring training is for pitchers. It's not for hitters, believe me, or catchers, because we used to hate spring training. All you do is warm these guys up, you know. And to quote Jim Northrup, they're all these non-athletes. That's all we get down there for, you know. So really, it's really for the pitching staff. You give the hitters a week, and they're really ready to go.
Did you always find you were ahead of the hitter early in the season?
Oh, yeah, because I was a control pitcher. And I have my control right there, and the hitters are just looking for their BP fastball down the middle.
Thank you very much.
No, it really is.
Is that really? That's
yeah, if you have a good curveball or a good slider in the springtime, you might go undefeated. I mean, for that month.
The way the East...
But we great hitters never want to go up there when it's cold out either, Fred. Remember that.
The way the East... I'll just move on. The way the East is set up this year, I mean, you could almost see this team staying with it as long as they get off to a good start and play. I think this road trip's any road trip's big, but I mean, this is a real long one, and you've got to play at least 500 or above here to, you know, make your mark.
Yeah, I think you always want to do that, though. You know, if you're a decent team, and I think the Tigers bats will keep them in a lot of road games too. I think they're going to be around the 500 mark all year. I really believe that. I think Boston eventually is going to get on track and be okay. I think they're going to have a lot more power than they did last year when they were surprisingly inept in that department. Toronto, who knows? I mean, every year people say the Blue Jays are going to run away and hide, and for some reason they never do.
Always a question mark.
It'd be interesting, though, since they dismantled that team, to see how they come back this year.
I like their new lineup. I like them. They're pretty solid at every position.
All right, we're going to take a break. We're taking a break? Break time, okay. More with On the Round Table in a moment. Good,
And as the opening day ceremonies continue, we'll pause again and come back with more from Comiskey Park in a moment.
Yesterday, Lou Whitaker stepped to the plate with 2 outs in the 9th to hit a 3-run pinch hit home run to tie the game. Then in the 10th, Milt Kyler scored the game winner on a pass ball, and the Tigers beat the Blue Jays 5-4. This afternoon, the Tigers have the honor of playing in the first game ever at the new Comiskey Park. Stay tuned. It's the Tigers and the White Sox live from Chicago.
Welcome to brand new Comiskey Park in